All right, what does RH mean in hardwood flooring? Should I worry about it? RH stands for relative humidity, okay? And there is no relative humidity in hardwood. Relative humidity is in the air. What we measure in flooring is not necessarily relative humidity, but how much moisture is in that wood. And it is extremely important. So we have two different times that we want to measure humidity. The first is before the wood goes down. We want to know the relative humidity in the room. We want to know the amount of moisture in the subfloor, and we want to know the amount of moisture of the hardwood that's being installed. EPA says that relative humidity in the house should run between 40 and 60% ongoing. In a construction site, that's really hard to do because you don't have air conditioning. You don't have the means of covering that. So really, that isn't as important as the amount of moisture in your subfloor. If we take a moisture meter, which no hardwood flooring job or no nail down job certainly should ever be attempted without a moisture meter. But whether you're using a pin meter that goes into the wood or a contact meter, it will tell you what the percentage of moisture is in that subfloor. We want it to be under 15, preferably under 13, but we want it to be higher than 6. We also want it to be within no more than 4% of what your hardwood flooring is. Okay, so if you check the hardwood flooring and it comes in at about 8%, then we don't want our subfloor to be over 12. If one of them's off, we have to say, well, which one of these is wrong? Because if say we have 15 in our hardwood and we have wood that's at 8, we stack that wood up and we let it acclimate, that wood's going to expand. We really don't want that wood expanding because it's milled at a certain moisture level. It's milled to be perfect. It's milled to go together. And this might be getting a little technical. Stop me if I'm getting too boring. But the grain changes directions in wood. Some of them run vertical, or what's that called? Quarter sawn. Where others are flat sawn, and they're flat. And that's typically when your grain has the wider grooves in it. Those boards expand along the grain. So if we take a flat sawn and a quarter sawn board and we introduce moisture to both of them, one's going to grow this way, the other's going to grow this way. That means when we nail them together, even if they fit, we're still going to have a height difference between the boards. So we don't want to introduce much moisture to our floors. A couple of percent is fine. We would never ever want to introduce more than 4%. Harder the wood, like a hickory, the more that could be a problem because there's more room for it to move. But anyway, yes, the amount of moisture in your subfloor, in your wood, and your room is important. After you install it, you still need to keep an eye on that relative humidity. You know, if one spring is wet but cool and you want to open up the doors and windows, if our relative humidity gets much over 60, 70%, we're going to introduce moisture to that floor and we're going to see some expansion and you're going to see cupping in a floor, which can be disastrous, okay? Most of the time when a floor cups, it doesn't ever lay back down completely. So if you start to see some cupping in your floor, turn the air on, close the doors and windows. Deal with that moisture then, not later, okay?
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to add to that?
No, you did fine.
That's pretty good, wasn't it?
That's good.
Yeah, I studied like an hour for that.